From start to finish, the Euros campaign, it really kept us on our seat. From France defeating England in matchday 1 to Italy's impressive run to the semis to penalty shootouts galore, especially for the English side. We really saw it all in this tournament, and it's England who got to lift the trophy again in back-to-back campaigns. Now let's take a look at what they were saying over in England in the newspapers in Mirror Sport. It was Queens of Hearts, never say die Lionesses, retain Euro crown in shootout thriller. It really was a thriller. And Spain obviously was able to get it done last time, but what was different about this English team this time to get it done?
Oh, we talked about this a lot with Kelly O'Hara and McCausland Boney yesterday on Morning Footy, we're on Morning Footy now. Attacking third, confusing my shows. But I think England just had a mentality. They came out with a loss in the tournament. They went to penalties and extra time nearly every single match, but were able to persevere. And I think that their journey gave them that edge over Spain, where Spain looked a little complacent. They dominated every single team. They scored a plethora of goals. We all expected them to play this beautiful football. When you go against a team like England, who, like this says, never say die, they couldn't measure up to it.
Yeah. For Sarina Wiegman, I mean, she has been, you want to talk about this English team, but you also want to talk about the manager that's leading the charge. Charlie, what kind of legacy is she leaving as a manager?
I mean, they're building a statue of her right at the moment. I mean, she's been incredible. Just knowing when to make tactical changes, knowing which players are going to influence the game. And Chloe Kelly coming in, obviously it was forced because Lauren James is in her ankle, and she didn't look like she was up for it to start the game, because I remember the rebound earlier in that match, she just didn't get to it, and she looked a little bit off. But when I think of what a manager means to a team, how you can connect with players emotionally, she does that in abundance. And I think that's what makes her so good, is because she understands the game, the tacticians, but she's also a man manager. So I can't say enough about how she's handled this group throughout the whole tournament. Because in this game, particularly against Spain, they came out firing, had some good chances, and then I thought, okay, they lost it because Spain started to dominate and kept control. And I said, that was their one moment, but they kept it close. And so when you have a manager who is calm, makes the right decisions, you know you're never out of it.
And Darian, she's kept calm since the very beginning. England lost to France in match day 1, and that kind of set off a lot at the beginning of whether or not we would see England even continue past the group stage. How much of that comes down to the manager that's in charge in Sarina Wiegman?
It's funny, I was really critical of her lack of subbing, because I wanted to see Michelle Agiman and Chloe Kelly get more minutes, get rewarded for their time. But this is why she's a manager and I'm not. And Chuck's going to be a future manager. I am not. I don't want to make those decisions. Clearly I'm wrong. But I think she gets the best out of her players, where no matter what role they play, the mentality is there. Whether it's 5 minutes, 20 minutes, you have to come in before half. She knows how to get the best out of every single one of her teams.
I was also going to say Lucy Bronze. She goes down. I thought she did her knee.
Yeah.
And most coaches, most managers will go, emotionally, they're unstable. I got to get her out. I'm going to make that sub. She gave her the belief, the trust. I'm going to listen to you. Lucy's like, you got to drag me off. I'm not coming out.
Well, Chuck, even watching when Spain scored, it was her mark. We were talking yesterday, it's very basic principles of, when you're a striker, you want to get in front. If this is the goal, you're trying to get in front of that attacking space and get an edge on. Well, Lucy Bronze fell asleep in that, the leader of this Lionesses squad. And I was like, if she's gone, this whole team's gone, but she stayed in it.
What about Chloe Kelly? Because that's a player who we thought maybe we would see her start some of these games, but she didn't. But she knows how to show up in clutch moments, even if she is the one subbing in later on in the game. And she took the winning penalty kick, and she even said after the game, she said, we were practicing penalty kicks in training the day before the final, and I missed 3 of them. But that didn't matter, because when it came down to it in this moment, she was able to get it done.
Epitome of mentality of this team. And especially as a striker, Chuck, you know very well, it's up and down. Your whole being of, if you get playing time, if you're missing penalties, whatever that day, I feel like it's a really emotional position. She's one of those players where we've seen master that mental side of the game, and everybody should be watching and trying to emulate how she is, how her calmness, her confidence, her penalty kick. I mean, I've never taken a penalty like that in my life. I don't know if you have.
A couple times. not with that pressure. Not that pressure.
Not that run-up?
No, I don't have that hop.
No, but to me, she's just completely emblematic of the spirit of this team of women's football, and her calmness, I think, is so underrated, and it's finally getting the respect it deserves. And I still want to see her get more minutes in the future.
I know. Is there, in the women's side of things, is there a player bigger than Chloe Kelly that shows up in those moments, or is she that's her? She is that player.
Are you talking about in all of women's football?
In all of women's football.
I mean, it's hard to just
in
disregard Aitana Bonmati, who's been phenomenal for Spain and for Barcelona. So, I mean, and she was even phenomenal in this tournament.
She was.
So, I give Chloe Kelly so much credit because she's got ice in the veins.
I would even say Stina Blackstenius for Sweden, though, too, is another one of those players. But she didn't win the Euros, so.
Yeah. Well, Spain also did not just win the Euros. That's the one trophy that they have yet on the women's side of things to put in their cabinet. Where do they go from here? How do you think that they adjust from here, Charlie? Because they were really hoping to be able to get the job done yesterday, and they weren't able to, but they still put on a very impressive performance.
Well, this is the problems, I think, when you talk about possession in world football at the moment. A lot of east to west, and they controlled the game, but they weren't dangerous enough. And when they did get into the final third, it was very predictable. There's whipping in crosses. We didn't see them look to combine and take shots. For me, it was not enough on target. So for England, they just stayed compact. And they said, okay, we can deal with this. Let's just keep it close. We're gonna get more opportunities, which they did. So I think for Spain, there has to be a better balance of knowing when to keep the ball, control the game, control the tempo, make them chase, but also, okay, let's be a little bit more direct, cutthroat, and score the second goal and the third goal, which would have ended this game.
Yeah, I think it's about not being afraid to make the game ugly, but heart. I don't think we saw enough heart from this team, which is what England had over them. But the girls made a really good point on the show yesterday. You're never going to forget this. You are always going to have that in the back of your mind when you go play major tournaments. Most of these players just lost the Champions League to Arsenal as well. That should be ingrained in your mind going forward. And I think England had that over them coming into this tournament. But I would be scared to play this team going forward because I don't think they're going to be so afraid to make the game ugly and just force the ball to be in the back of the net.
Yeah, and these were two of the tournament favorites, and they were both able to get to the final. And we talked about it with Phil Kitramilides, who was in last week, and he said not only are they two favorites in the tournament, but two of the best teams in the world. So, Darian, I want to know your take on who you think are the top 5 women's teams in the world right now.
USA, number 1, of course. I'm going to rank U.S. soccer. I think the depth and the growth of the game, especially since the World Cup, the youth that we've seen come and dominate in the U.S. abroad is compared to none. I think some of these other teams, like in England, I'm concerned about their future moving forward because these younger players aren't getting the minutes that I want to see. We're not seeing them in major tournaments be able to come and show out. Spain is number 2, reigning world champions, absolutely. I think they've done so well with investing in the youth of their national team and moving forward. England, number 3, just coming off 2 Euros wins. How can I not? Germany is a team that I think I'm looking forward to seeing how they develop, how they're going to continue growing their game, because that is a team that has always had mentality. You can never write Germany off. And Sweden. The number 5, I wanted to throw in an African team, but I think what these European teams in the U.S. have over maybe Africa, Asia, is the investment and the willingness to provide good coaching and opportunity and even proper facilities. And I think Sweden is another one of those teams that I can't write off that I think have been stellar, and they showed it as well in this tournament.
What if we see the U.S. take on this English side now? What kind of matchup do you
it's like you're in
think
the
that we'd be seeing?
chat yesterday.
What kind of matchup would we be seeing?
I think the United States are so deep, and speed is what stands out to me. The U.S. have a lot to prove in terms of the quality and possession, because we know how good they are when you're talking about transition and playing on the counter press. They have a perfect tactical game plan to break down a lot of teams. But when the game is a little bit more difficult with a team that's just going to sit back, that's when you want to see how the U.S. can also break down opponents. So I think the U.S. would beat England, and much easier than it would if they played Spain.
Ooh, I completely agree with that. I think, to that point, something that the U.S. has over every single team on this list they're multidimensional under Emma Hayes. We're not seeing just the transition, let's just let our wingers go 1v1 and send in hopeful crosses. They can break down a low block. They're good in possession. They know how to switch. They can be direct if they want to. They have players that are 16, 17 coming and balling out. They have veterans in the team still balling, reinventing themselves.
Who's the youngest player that excites you for the U.S.?
Lily Johannes. Yeah, that one's easy to me. I can't wait to see what she does. And especially going to Lyon, she's just going to get better and better.